Hey, what's up guys and gals? Danny Lightning back. Today we're going to be reviewing the Maono PD100X microphone kit. You can get this for around 40 bucks with a desk stand, or I think it's a little bit more if you get the kit with the boom arm. So let's open the box and see what's inside. Alright, so here's what's inside of the box. You get the microphone, you get the boom arm, and a little desk clamp right there. So there we go. Here's a nice close-up view of the microphone. It does have some RGB lighting. It is a XLR or USB mic, which is really nice. It does have a mute button on the top, and it does have a dial to adjust the gain and the headphone volume. This is how it looks when we pull the top off, and this microphone does have a headphone jack on the back, so you can listen to whatever's playing through the microphone or any audio playing on the PC, which is really cool. And this is the way the microphone looks right here. So in just a second, we are going to go ahead and plug this in and let you hear it and do all kinds of testing and show you the software and all kinds of good stuff. So this is the microphone right here, the Maono PD100X Budget Podcast Dynamic XLR/USB microphone. All right, let's go do it to it. So now we have this plugged in through USB, and this is the way the microphone sounds, and this is the Maono PD100X. This is their new little affordable podcast microphone. We're going to open up some of the software that this comes with and show you how to set the EQ and the compressor and all that good stuff. But first, we're just going to talk into it, run a few tests, and let you guys hear it. So the first thing we're going to do is see how this works for keyboard noises. So if you're typing on a keyboard and recording yourself at the same time, this is about how much keyboard noise this is going to pick up. So there we go. We are typing on a semi-loud mechanical keyboard. And the next thing we're going to test is plosives and sibilants to see if the microphone pops when we say our P's, or if those S sounds sound harsh. So first, we're going to start by doing this when we're talking directly into it. So Peter Parker preferred pineapple pizza, but his spidey senses tell him something different. Now let's position the microphone so the air is going past it, not into it. Peter Parker preferred pineapple pizza, but his spidey senses tell him something different. Peter Parker, Peter Parker, Peter Parker, Peter Parker, spidey senses, spidey senses, spidey senses. All right, so did the S sound harsh, and did the microphone pop a lot? Now we're going to do a little bit of a distance test. So this is how the microphone sounds when it's about 2 or 3 fingers away from your mouth. So 3 to 4 inches away, that's a really good place to have a dynamic microphone. And if we get really close to it, this is the way the microphone's going to sound when we're right up on top of it. We are right up on top of the microphone right now, and this is the way it sounds. And let's go ahead and start moving it back. So this is how it sounds as you get further away. We are getting further away from the microphone. I mean, honestly, this is not where you want to have a dynamic mic, but we're pretty much an arm's length away right now, and that is way too far away. I mean, you can do that if you want to, but you're going to get a bad signal-to-noise ratio and everything else. So you really want to have your microphones up on a boom arm and right in front of your mouth. And yeah, so let's test off-axis noise rejection. So now we're going to start spinning the microphone and see how it picks up noise from the sides or the back. So we're going to go ahead and spin it around a little bit more. Check 1 2, check 1 2. All right, let's go ahead and spin this some more. We are 180 degrees around, and let's go ahead and spin it the rest of the way. So here we go. And as I'm moving this, you can probably tell if there's any type of handling noise or anything as I'm moving the microphone around. But yeah, that is our off-axis noise rejection test. All right, so now we have the microphone up on the boom arm that it came with. We're going to start tapping on the desk and see if there's a bunch of resonance that comes up through the boom arm. That way, if you're gaming or you just bump your desk or something, you can hear if there's a bunch of ringing or unwanted sounds coming through the microphone. So we are tapping on the desk. Let's go and tap on the boom arm. So this is what would happen if you were to bump your boom arm. I mean, that happens occasionally during recording, so if you were to bump the boom arm, this is what you would hear. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the software. We'll show you guys the software, how it works, how to use it, and all that good stuff. And then afterwards, we'll plug this in on XLR and let you hear this microphone on XLR. So yeah, let's go ahead and open up the software. All right, so one of the best and nicest parts about this Maono microphone right here is you have access to Maono Link, which will give you a bunch of really cool controls. We're going to start off with the standard controls. Now, if you got the microphone nice and close to your mouth, just a couple inches away, as you should have it, just set your gain to around 45 or 48. Somewhere between 48 and 50 should give you a really nice amount of gain for the microphone. And yeah. Next thing we have is our headphone monitoring. That's just for listening to your headphones. You can turn up the volume on how loud that is here. And then next we have our tone control. So we have deep, original, neutral, and legacy. So let's switch over to deep. Now we're on the deep tone, so that should make it sound really deep. I don't know if we sound like Johnny Cash or what, but now we're on the original. This is what original sounds like. And now we're going to switch to neutral. Now we are on the neutral tone, and there's something over here called legacy, and this is the way legacy sounds. So you can decide if you like any of these. Honestly, I would switch over to the advanced controls once you set your RGB. Let's put that back on original. Now you got your RGB settings, right? You can turn up how bright or how dim that light is, which is kind of nice. Then you can pick the color you want and all that good stuff. You can have static or pulse, yada, yada, yada. So basically, I would set my lights over here, then I would click on the Advanced tab. All right, so when you come in here to the Advanced settings, the first thing you want to do is set your microphone gain. Like I said, when it's nice and close to your mouth where the microphone should be, around 48, maybe 45, maybe even 50 is a nice place to put it. Then we got our headphone volume monitoring. That's pretty self-explanatory. I don't feel like I need to explain that to anybody, but that's just how loud or quiet the sound that plays back in your headphones is. Now we've got an EQ, right? So first off, we've got a flat EQ. Then we have one with a bass cutoff. This is how it sounds. Next, we have a little bit of a presence boost, which should add a little bit of something in there. And then we have a presence boost plus a low bass cutoff. But the thing is, this little custom button right here, if you click this, this brings you into a custom EQ. Once we get into the 7-band EQ, this is where things get interesting. Now, on the right side, these bands on the right are the treble sides, and on the left, we have the bass. So let's start off with the 16K. These are going to be like the air frequencies. If you want to boost the air frequencies up a little bit, you can maybe do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decibels. Generally, I wouldn't go more than 2 or 3, honestly, but that will bring in a little bit of those high-end air frequencies. If you got a high-pitched voice, I would definitely not turn those up. If you got a deeper voice, maybe turn those up a little bit. Next, we have our 6.3 thousand hertz boost. So this will add a little bit of presence in, so you could always add like 1.5, maybe 2 decibels. And then we have our 2.5K, which is also kind of in that, you know, presence boost range. So let's just say we wanted to boost the highs up by about 4 decibels and add a little presence in. There we go, but bam. Now let's just say we want to add in a little bit of extra mid-range. We can always boost the 1K up or maybe the 400. Now if the recording starts to sound a little bit muddy, you'd probably want to cut 400 by 2 or 3 decibels. And then we have 160, which is a really weird place to have it. Most people want to boost the lower mids around 100 to add some of those nice warm lows in. But this one gives us 160. It would be nice if there was one more band. I mean, 160 is a good place, but it would be nice if there was one more band at 100 hertz, because most people do like to boost the bass right at 100. And then we have this 60 hertz bass adjustment. This will boost the really, really, really low lows and probably make us sound like Johnny Cash right there. But yeah. But personally, I'm just going to go ahead and reset this. I like the way it sounds with the EQ on flat. And once you make your changes, make sure you hit the confirm button. If you don't do that, it's not going to save your settings. So the next thing we have is a limiter. You just click that to turn that on and set that to like -1 or -2. If you ever get so loud that the microphone clips and distorts, this should keep that from happening. So the limiter is basically just to try and keep the microphone from distorting if the audio source you're recording gets too loud. And the next thing we have is a compressor. Right now the compressor is turned on. I find with my 48 decibels of gain and the microphone about 3 fingers in front of my face, around minus 25 decibels is where the compressor turns in. So the compressor will actually try to keep the louder parts, the quieter parts closer together. So if you start getting really loud and yelling, it's going to turn you down. It's just something really nice, especially if you're one of those people that are gaming and you start to yell. It'll help so it doesn't blow out people's eardrums. Now, the best way to set the compressor, let's go and turn this off. The best way to set the compressor is just do a recording and talk into it and just slowly move this dial. And once you notice your voice gets just a little teeny tiny bit quieter, that means you're starting to get just a little teeny tiny bit of compression. So right around, 25, I really notice it start to kick in for me. And that's where I'm going to leave it. For your speaking voice, you only want to compress a little teeny tiny bit. And then when you yell and get loud, then it's really going to kick in and turn you down. So you don't really want to compress your voice too much. If you over compress, it's really going to make you quiet or just make you sound bad. So yeah, that's kind of how you want to set that. And then there's also a noise removal. So if you got background noise, you can just click that and turn that on. And then you can adjust this little slider. Just make sure, adjust the slider, do a recording, find a setting. Just find a setting where your voice isn't cutting in and out, because this is basically like a noise gate. If you set that wrong, it'll probably start cutting off the beginning and the end of your words. So that one does take a little bit of playing around with. I don't personally like noise gates, so I'm not going to use this, but I'm definitely going to use the custom EQ if I feel like I need to change the audio, and I'm going to use the limiter and the compressor for sure. So yeah, really cool settings here. All right, so this is the way the little microphone sounds when we have it hooked up through XLR. And generally, a microphone will almost always sound better on XLR compared to USB, because you got to think, when you're using a USB microphone, they basically are giving you an audio interface that's built into the microphone, and they're trying to keep the cost down. So the preamps aren't as good, the digital to analog converters aren't as good. There's just a lot of stuff that's not as good, so you will almost always get better sound on XLR versus USB. The only thing is, once you switch over to XLR, you don't get to use the software. You don't have the compressor or the EQ. You don't have any of that stuff on XLR. So if you want all the bells and whistles and features of the software, you might be better off using the microphone on USB. But, if you use it on XLR, this microphone will sound a good deal better, at least in my opinion. If you're listening on a really, really good set of headphones, I can hear some pretty significant differences between XLR and USB, and I really prefer the sound of this on XLR. I mean, it actually sounds really smooth and really good on XLR, and it also sounds pretty good and smooth on USB as well. But I'm going to tell you what, I really like the way this one sounds on XLR. But the beauty of USB is you can go out, spend $50, $60, $40, whatever it is, and just plug the microphone directly into the computer, and you don't have to go out and spend an extra $100 or $200 on the interface. I mean, nicer interfaces are going to start running $200, $250, $300, $500, $1,200, which is pretty crazy. Some of the more basic ones you can get for between $50 and $100, but bottom line is, this is a overall nice sounding microphone, especially on XLR, but it also sounds pretty good on USB, and it does have some really cool features on USB. So let's talk about my final thoughts and conclusions, and do I recommend this microphone? So for somebody who's looking to spend a small amount of money on a microphone, this is not bad whatsoever. It is a little bit resonant. If you tap on something, it is kind of prone to plosive, so Peter Piper picked a peck of peppers. So if you don't bump your desk and you position the microphone properly, or get yourself a pop filter and get this up on a boom arm, the microphone does sound very good. Just don't bump the cable, don't bump the boom arm, and don't say Peter Piper directly into the microphone, and you should get pretty good results. I would highly recommend putting the microphone up on a boom arm, putting it probably about 4 fingers away, putting it off to the side and angling it towards your mouth a little bit, so when you say your P's, the air just goes right past it. That will give you much better results. If you need to, you can always move it just a little bit further away, and there's nothing wrong with using a pop filter. A lot of people love pop filters. I don't particularly like them, but with this microphone, I think I would probably use one because it is a little bit poppy. Proper microphone placement does make a big deal, So bottom line is, if you add a pop filter, that's going to give you great results. And as long as you're not bumping your desk or you're not, hitting the boom arm or the cable or something, this microphone should give you very good sound quality for under 50 bucks. I mean, for a microphone that's under $50, at least that's the price I'm seeing it at right now, the sound quality is quite good. So yeah, not a bad little microphone at all. There's a few quirks, but if you can get past those. Now, I wouldn't buy this microphone to do any type of professional audio work with, but if you're at home gaming with your friends, you're on Discord, you're on Zoom calls, voice chat, stuff like that, or maybe even just doing a YouTube channel, if you're looking for something cheap and that's all you can afford, this is a decent option. I mean, it's got all the software, the overall sound quality is good. You're getting a lot for a microphone that seems to be under $50. So yeah, so if you don't mind using a pop filter and you're not bumping your desk or the boom arm, it's a great sounding little microphone for anybody who wants to game with their friends, get on their Discord chats, Zoom calls, voice calls. Again, I wouldn't buy it for any type of professional work, but for just your average person, I think it's a great little microphone and sounds pretty good. Plus, it's got some cool features and software and all that stuff, so I do like it overall. It's not perfect, but I do like it. Anyways, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. And if you drop down the video's description or the pinned comment, you'll see ways to help support the channel. Anytime I get money from this channel, I buy more gear and stuff like that to review. Now, they did send me this one for free, but generally, a lot of the stuff I do buy, some stuff I get for free, but my reviews are always honest. If it's not honest, it's not an actual review. It's more like a commercial, and I'm here to review things. I'm not here to, make commercials. But yeah, don't forget to smash that like button and that subscribe button. We would appreciate that very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Elvis has left the building. Thanks for watching my video. I hate to say, but it's time to go. Maybe you could watch another one. That might be really fun. Thanks for watching my video.